race just finishing up a few moments ago. The championship set to head to Western Australia and Barbagallo Raceway in just a fortnight's time. Matt Nolte and Jason Bargwanna with you for this one, the final race of the weekend, the V8 touring cars. And Bark's been busy racing around a little 86 this weekend, but strapped in for this final one.
Oh, it's been a great weekend down here at Phillip Island, and a great weekend for Tyler Greenberry, who has had 2 wins in the V8 touring cars this weekend. Josh Smith is going to start on the front row right next to him. Michael Anderson, our pole setter for the weekend, is still on the second row after some great racing. So Jack Smith there as well on the second row. So there's been some great battles throughout the series, throughout the racing this weekend, and we've obviously had Jeff Emery had that penalty after race 2. So we saw him lead that race early, but clearly it was Tyler Greenberry that got the job done.
Yeah, if you're wondering why the grid looks a bit different, it's combined points from the first 2 races of the weekend, and that's why Josh Smith will start on the front row. First, the 2 Smiths. We've got a Josh Smith and a Jack Smith out there. Jack in the red and black SCT Logistics Holden just coming into the background of that shot. Tyler Greenberry looks pretty ominous here from the outset, doesn't he? He was quick in practice on Friday. It was a weird qualifying session yesterday because of the weather. We saw Michael Anderson and Gary Hills, who was debuting, get on the front row. But now it's down to Greenberry and Josh Smith. A big moment for Smith. Also for Anderson on points, finds himself in 3rd at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Tyler Greenberry was the man to beat in qualifying. Right throughout the session on the wet weather tyres, he had done the time. We had that red flag. We stopped the session for a while. They got out and they got 1 or 2 laps on that slick tyre, and it bumped Greenberry down, and that's why we had Anderson there. In saying that, he's done a great job. So let's see what we can get out of this last race of the weekend. Combined results, the grid's set. There's the green flag being waved.
He's happy, and we're happy, because all 18 cars are locked in for the final race of the weekend here on Fox Sports in the V8 touring cars. Greenberry gets away. Anderson got the better start then from the second row. A few of the cars in the back just struggling to get off the line there. But Anderson looks okay here down the inside. But Smith looking to go side by side with the man from Toowoomba.
Certainly Greenberry got the jump in. We thought Smith was in trouble there, but he's got the second bite, and he's gone with Greenberry right down to turn 2. There's Jeff Emery on board at the moment. We've all got through cleanly, and there's Smith being run out wide by McCorkindale. So, Jay Smith, we'll just go that way, will we?
Yeah. Smith and Smith.
The Smith and Smith show. So, obviously it was a good start by Greenberry to get out in front, but he is going to eyes down. Smith coming down the inside now. He's having a look. He's on cold tyres. He's made the most of that and got the job done.
Wow, good move. Down at the bottom there at turn number 4, but Greenberry's fighting back here. And this is the car that Greenberry drove last year. So he's seeing double at the moment. He'll lead us out of Siberia. Jeff Emery up to 3rd, and Jordan Boyce, man, he has been very impressive since practice on Friday here.
Absolutely, look at him through there, the hay shed there. It's flat, and we've got Page off the road, unfortunately. He had a little moment in qualifying where he just locked a brake, got onto the green, and away it went into the fence. So he missed the first race, unfortunately, but good to see no damage to that car. Greenberry's got back ahead of Smith again, though, so we missed that. Obviously, there was a pass on the way up through the hay shed there somewhere.
Huge step up for Page. Really some club racing only in his career to step into a high horsepower supercar, the V8 Touring Car Series. Big step up for him as they come through to complete lap number 1. There's Chris Smurden coming through. Here's a replay of what happened down at turn number 4.
He got him back. Got him back. So obviously he'd done all that work down the inside, and then Greenberry found a way to sneak back past again. And he's off and running now with the fastest lap of the race so far has been Tyler Greenberry on the cold tyres.
1:42.46 standing time for Greenberry. It's 0.7 of a second as Chris Smurden, the veteran of touring car racing, giving one of the rookies in the field, Jack Smith, a bit of a hurry up here as they exit Southern Loop. And watch Tyler Greenberry just disappear now into the distance.
So we got Josh Smith there, hanging on nicely to Tyler Greenberry, Smurden down the inside. What a great move. He's just found just enough of a gap and hard under braking, not locking it up at all, and has found his way through. Now we've got, is that McCain? He's trying to, Mike McCain, sorry, trying to buy into that as well. So he's going to try and find a way past Smith. Smith's struggling a bit there. Like, he's certainly been quick all over the course of the weekend, but seems to be falling back through the field. Maybe he's got a tyre problem or something.
As we saw earlier today, the 2 Policina cars, headed by Kane this time, glued with each other, chasing Jack Smith to the top of Lukey Heights. But it's Greenberry, less than a second, back to Josh Smith. Jeff Emery is 3rd, Jordan Boyce in 4th, and Michael Anderson. And this time, Jack Smith repays the favour on Chris Smurden and MG.
Chris Chris Smurden wasn't watching there, and he's left a bit of a gap. Jack Smith found a way through. So we're swapping for position. This is down for P7, P8, P9 and P10 at the moment. So there's the two Policina cars. That car 23 is the car I drove in 09. And I had a lot of success with. So it's good to see it out there still battling away.
You reminiscing?
Reminiscing. I want to go give it a cuddle.
This is a great pass, albeit right the last second for Jack Smith. From the Smith family of SDT Logistics fame. Grandfather started the business some years ago. Got board with Emery. Great to have this car back on a racetrack. It was at the end of 2012, and Emery himself just returning to supercar or touring car racing, if you will, after a stint in the GTs last year. Copped a penalty for not making it out to the grid before the minute board was up today when they had to change a fuse in the dummy grid in turn number 4. Wise old man just decided to whack a few extra fuses on the side of the car. A marshal jumped in, changed it. Can't come back to life, and off he went.
Bit of experience there, obviously, going along. McCorkindale has got the job done on Anderson, so he's now moved himself up into P6 or P5, and Anderson slots back. And now Jack Smith seems to have gathered himself up because he was certainly struggling early there. He's now pulled a great gap on Chris Smurden in his way he goes. And Greenby's had a problem, has he? Because Smith has now found a way past, so he's putting pressure on. Greenby has dropped back a little. He had a good little gap there to start with. But it's Josh Smith now. It's done the fastest first sector, the fastest middle sector, and has found himself up on the back of Greenbury and got the job done.
Spoke too soon. Look, Greenbury might just drive into the distance. But Josh Smith has got the lead here. The AHS Ford leads the Edge, number 38 Holden. And it's 0.4 of a second. A further 2 back to Jeff Emery. Still a lot to play out in the final race of the V8 touring cars here today.
Two little battles going on here. One for the lead with Smith. Josh Smith done a great job there. We saw him get that lead early and ran wide, so he gave it back to Greenbury. But he just hasn't let go, has he? Greenbury got a bit of a gap. But obviously over the top of Lukey Heights there, down in MG, Josh Smith did a great job and is actually opening a gap. He's pulling a bit of a... Oh, he's locked a brake. That's going to hurt him. He's had to get out of the pressure, unreleased. There's Boise down the inside, sliding. So good manoeuvre there for P3. Jordan Boyes, young guy from Albury, having his debut here in a V8 touring car. He's done a lot of Formula Ford racing over the last 12 months. Represented Australia in world go-karting and done a great job on the podium at the Rotax finals in Portugal, I think it was. So here he is having his first. And we've got Anderson off the road with Smurden as well.
And Anderson, this was just outside the top 6. Smurden will get away with this. And Anderson will too. Not too often you'd see that, and there's the rear it's been punched. He drops a lot of gravel on the return. Kenwood Holmes car, the man from Bathurst that purchased this car during the off-season. It's had some success. It was the Super 2 Series winning car in the hands of Cameron Waters back in 2015. And now drops himself right down the positions. Classic Siberia, isn't it, really?
Well, Anderson's come across there trying to cut the, or close the door, if you like, on Smurden, who was just braked that little bit later and got him in the rear quarter. So a little bit of contact, Smurden off as well. It's good to see both those cars regather themselves up and keep going. Bit of contact there. And the two Policina cars, Kane and Policina there, have inherited a couple of spots, moved themselves up into P7 and P8.
Nicely done. Meantime, it continues on here for 3rd and 4th between Emery and Jordan Boyes. Further 4 seconds back to John McCorkindale, who's been stepping up the positions all weekend long with the assistance of Dean Canto, who we'll see in the Pertec Enduro Cup later this year.
Young Jordan there, a lot of experience with Emery, but young Jordan, he was asking about how to manage the tyre, and we were talking, I had a chat with him before about managing the sway bars and getting the most out of the tyre and when you need to really assess it. So hopefully he's learning a bit the course of the weekend. He's trying to do the entire V8 touring car season. Great to have Dynamic on board in supporting him there, but I reckon he's looking the goods at the moment for a podium. If you just find a way past Emery, he certainly looks quicker. If you find a way through, that'd be great.
Here's Jack Sipp. Sipp running back in 11th position with the recovering Chris Smurden, who's back on the circuit now. Gary Hills, who drove across from Western Australia to be here for the first round. The next Nick Percat car is inside the top 10 after getting a surprise front row start in qualifying.
He did a great job. He was one of those cars on slicks and found himself right at the front of the field. And now just maintaining that 9th and Smurden there in 10th. So there's a good little battle going right throughout the field. Cars doing their fastest laps, their fastest sectors. So And this would be one of the best racetracks they've been on all weekend. We've had the V8 Supercar race. All that rubber goes down, and it really affects the way these cars handle. It gives these guys a lot more grip as well. So the lap times they're doing are going to be somewhere even better than what they're doing in qualifying, obviously. So the opportunity to really stretch the legs on these cars and understand what they've got underneath them.
They were first out Friday morning in absolutely torrential conditions here, where lap times were over 2 minutes for a lap. And now, here's Gary Hills with Smurden going down the inside. So Smurden back inside the top 10. While the old veteran who's been around for many, many years, privateer back in the Australian Touring Car Championship days.
A very experienced campaigner. He's got one of the old Stone Brothers cars, a number of old Stone Brothers racing cars in the field. And he's been a stalwart of this category for a number of years now. His Page just pulling out of the way, getting off the racing line, letting the faster cars through, which is good. And as now Greenbury gets past as well. But young Josh Smith out in front there, he's done a great job. He's actually opened a good gap over Tyler Greenbury and is consistently going that little bit quicker. So he's doing a fantastic job out in front.
Greenbury wants his third win of the weekend. He's going to take the round honours here at the moment by 18 points. Should it stay the same, Josh Smith will hold down second and Jeff Emery will get the third spot as is, but we're only halfway home. It's Page on his debut just lets the faster guys go by. In car number 2, headed by Emery. We've still got Jordan Boys in his mirrors, chasing the ex-Craig Lowndes Vodafone Holden across the line here at Phillip Island.
Jordan Boys there, that's the ex-Tim Slade Stone Brothers car when he drove with those guys. So the Waihoon guys are running, you know, a couple of old Stone Brothers cars, the Josh Smith car out in front, and of course Jordan Boys there in the old Tim Slade car. So it's good to see these old cars battling away, but they're run really well. I mean, these teams, they do a fantastic job. They've got their own little championship, and they take you know, all this history that we've known in V8 Supercars, and they get it out there racing. I know a couple other cars that want to join. There's a couple of Jack Daniels cars out there, ex-Kelly cars. So it'll be good to see more and more of the older cars. As Boise runs a little bit deep under brakes, trying to find and put some pressure on Emery there.
Smurden has come into the pits on our screens here too, so that worked for him. Has ended up back in pit lane. We've also got the Heritage class out there today too, headed by Troy Stapleton, and there is the ex-Irwin Tools Falcon coming down pit lane. So he's received a black flag for that incident at Siberia with Michael Anderson.
Yeah, I wondered whether they were going to activate that PLP, but clearly they've decided to do that. So they've given him that penalty for that little bit of contact with Anderson. So he's now served that penalty and he can get back out there and run away. But Jack Smith's actually done a great job. He was struggling there early in the race, but he's now found himself back up in a P5.
Chris Delsmo returning to the circuit, the Century 21 Hazelbrook entry. It's been around this category for a few years. We're going to see the V8 touring cars the next couple of rounds over the course of the year. Joined us for 3 rounds of the championship. Joined us last year at Winton and Queensland Raceway. Great to see so many of the older cars finding a new home in the V8 touring car series.
That'll be one of the problems you have after you've raced from the after the V8 supercars, because offline is very dusty, dirty, and a lot of marbles. So he found himself out there at on the offline, get on the hairpin, on the throttle, and around she went. So it was all by himself.
Here's Jack Sipp, 10th position for him right now. Gary Hills in the distance.
And a bar adjustment there, so just stiffening the front bar, is it there? He's probably stiffening the rear bar, which is a strange way to go at this time of the race, but trying to find a way to get a balance in that car as the race goes on. So there's Hills there, a great job in that in qualifying to find himself in the front row. And these guys are now battling it out for the bottom of the top 10. So Sipp trying to find a way to get a little bit further up. Policina now in front of Michael Caine, the 2 ex-Tasman cars. Greg Murphy and I drove those 2 cars throughout 2009. Had some great success, a couple of podiums, and obviously the second car there, the Maisel sponsored car, that one on screen, was the car I drove at Bathurst and got pole at the Gold Coast in 09. So it was, and then the plug lead fell off in the first lap, so that didn't help me.
So cool to see these cars back. We went through that period of so many cars that were produced, didn't we? There's still a lot of cars sitting around workshops right around the country. Could join this series. I love the fact the Heritage class is in there.
Absolutely, and you know, there's old Dick Johnson racing cars in their proper livery from the day, and it's good to see these guys. Jim Policina here has kept the livery from back in 09 when we ran these cars. It was was the end of the Tasman era then, that those licences got sold on, and that's where D'Alberto ended up owning a licence. He ended up buying one of those licences. So, and I think it was Dumbrell bought the other one. So the Tasman Motorsport, that was the last year of Tasman Motorsport in the main game, and that was the colour scheme we ran then.
So Greenbury still less than a second behind Smith, but with 3.5 laps to go as he really pulls the car in tight. You can see the black rubber marks where he came through down to turn 4. And boys, maximum pressure. This time he gets alongside Jeff Emery and gets it done.
He had a good run out of turn 3 there, and Emery looked in the mirror. He's gone deep under brakes and a little bit too deep. And boys, he's found a way through. So Jordan Boys in his debut in a V8 touring car here at Phillip Island. And here's a look of Tyler Greenbury. Look at the black marks this leaves. That's around about 240 odd k's an hour. Top of 5th gear, sliding the car. Look at that.
When it gripped up, it just straightened up, didn't it? Look at the rubber marks behind. And car 38, driving for the Eggleston Motorsport team and giving them some success straight away in the V8 Touring Car Series. While that was happening, the pass was happening for 3rd position. Here's Emery, and Greenbury's gone off. Greenbury has gone off at the top of Lukey Heights here.
That's two moments Greenbury's had in the matter of a lap. So I wonder if he's got a bit of a problem happening there. He's obviously gathered that up. He's dropped himself back into that battle of the 2 Policina cars, but something doesn't look right with Greenbury's car. He's had a bit of a drama, and he's clearly struggling. He's trying to get that car to the finish now. And
it's a game changer because now Josh Smith not only can win the race, but can win the round the way things are looking. So what happened? Did he go off on his own in the background? Yes, he did. And lucky not to park it in the gravel.
Very lucky, and that's a very fast part of the circuit as well. So to have a moment there and be able to arrest it in the gravel track is very lucky.
Puts him back to 8th position behind Policina and Michael Caine. Can put a lap now on Bradley Neal in car number 55.
Threading their way through the traffic. We've got Michael Caine back in front of Policina. So they've changed positions throughout that process as well. It's Michael Caine now lighting the rear tyres up, trying to get on the power. So as Greenbury gathers himself up, he's got to move back up into probably another 3 positions to try and win the round. If he can find a way through these 2 cars, and then he's going to have to set off after McCorkindale. He's down the inside now of Policina. He's got that job done. No, he hasn't. Policina's not going to let him go. He's going to have to go around the long way down at Siberia, get offline where there's not a lot of grip. Policina stays on the racing line. Now Greenbury will cut back underneath and try and get the run up the hill.
Casey just pushing too hard with this car, and it's why he come unstuck in the end. And now he's finding himself towards the back part of the top 10. With a couple of laps to go, he needs 2 or 3 more positions if he wants to take the round win back.
Should be able to line up down the inside here. As Michael Caine runs deep, Policina runs deep. We're locking brakes everywhere here. The last race of the day, only a couple of laps to go. There's little mistakes happening all over the place. As Greenbury now is trying to find a way through on Policina, he's definitely quicker. Policina's not going to let him have it.
Round they come, onto the Gardner straight, gets himself into the slipstream, and will look for a pass. He's trying to push the toe at 260 k's an hour, and now Smith is in trouble.
Smith, what's happened there? He's lost, well,
right
he's
tyre.
lost a front right tyre. We haven't seen that all weekend, have we?
And this will put Jordan Boys on his debut in the category into the lead. And now Tyler Greenbury goes back into contention to win the round.
It's changing all here in the last minute. Now it's up to Jordan Boys, who's out in front, who's currently now on 102 points. So that's leapfrogging from 5th on the weekend to now actually in contention to be on the podium. He's actually 2nd for the points for the weekend if he can stay here and win this race. We've got 2 laps to go for young Jordan Boys from Albury. He's a go-karter. He's come all the way through Formula Ford. He's done a great job. He's found himself in at V8 Touring Car this weekend with dynamic support, and this is his debut, and he's leading Jeff Emery at the moment. Can he get the job done?
Well, be 1 and a bit laps to go from one Image Racing car to another, and Jordan Boys has got Jeff Emery, who now has the centre victory, filtering back towards car 888, and now Greenbury goes off again for the 2nd time.
I think something's let go on that car. It looks like maybe that's had a tyre problem as well, but he's certainly got that now buried. Can he get that out? Oh, he's just going to have to work hard to get that out. But he was actually about to win the weekend if he could stay there. And yes, definitely the right front's gone. So that's let go just near the hay shed there, coming through the hay shed, which is where we saw Craig Lowndes have that incident. Watch this there, bang, there it goes, pop.
puts a load back on it, sends him skating off where Lowndes went off in practice on Friday here. Drops him out of contention, and now Jordan Boys leads the weekend by 1 point. The tie between Emery and Smith. Last lap.
Half a lap to go for Jordan Boys. He's gone from 5th for the weekend 2 laps ago to now about to win his first V8 touring car race here at Phillip Island on debut for Dynamic Racing, and he's about to win the weekend if he can get the job done.
Around Siberia he comes. The gap is 1.1 seconds. Back to Jeff Emery. Jack Smith is in 3rd spot now. McCorkindale up to 4th. Then it's Kane, Policina, Sip, Gary Hills, Michael Anderson and Chris Delsma up into 10th position. And Jordan Boys, do you think he expected this would be the result when he got here Friday morning?
He's done a great job, has he? He just kept that pressure on Jeff Emery. The other two are out in front, Tyler Greenby and Josh Smith. He kept the pressure on Emery, found a way through when Emery made that little mistake, and then we've had the tyre dramas from the 2 leaders. And there's Greenby trying to make the finish line in the background there. He's going to limp through, but it's going to be Jordan Boys all the way. V8 touring car debut down here at Phillip Island. He's a race winner now. Fantastic to see.
Amazing win on debut for the rookie in the championship, and it's the first race win for Image Racing since Terry Wyhoon picked up the win at Malala in 2013. They will party hard tonight at Image Racing.
Josh Smith there just snuck across the line with a flat tyre. He was trying to find a way through, and this is the battle now, which was, well and truly outside the top 10, but this is now the battle with Hills and Sip for 6th and 7th place as they're trying to get across the line. What a great result.
Hills, sensational on debut for him as well with that front row start, and Jack Sip. More than likely, though, he's going to have a crack here.
Oh, he's got the run.
He's got the run here too. Is he going to do it? Oh, wait. Did he get it? No, he didn't. 100th of a second at the finish line. The never say die attitude of the V8 touring cars. Thoroughly enjoyed that race. It had everything.
I think Hills is glad he put the transponder in the front of the car on that one, because that was close. That came down to, what, 12 thousandths of a second at the finish line. So there's nothing in it. And Sip had a great run onto the line and almost got the job done. That was the battle for 8th place, 7th and 8th place.
Very cool. Right to the line, and that's what 12 thousandths looks like. Wasn't for the win, but points are crucial in this year's V8 Touring Car Series. Tough break for this guy, though, Tyler Greenby. Getting home here, it dropped him right down the order in the end to 18th position. Jordan Boys, race winner and round winner of round 1 of the V8 Touring Car Series for 2017. Jeff Emery 2nd, Jack Smith in 3rd. McCorkindale was 4th, back to Policina and Kane, the 2 teammates, 5th and 6th. Gary Hill 7th, Jack Sip, and Warren Millen scores a top 10 result. There is your round points, and look at that, 1 point separating 1st and 2nd. Anybody could have won that in the last couple of laps as Greenby crosses the line there. Emery and Smith tied on points 2nd and 3rd. McCorkindale 4th, down to Greenby, Anderson, Policina, Smith, Kane, and Gary Hills in the first round of this year's V8 Touring Car Series.